Not a problem. I have no idea. I just press a button here and there. Programming tells me what time to turn up and rock up and do stuff, and that's what I do. So,
okay. Well, what are we talking about today? So I can have a think about what we're doing.
That's a very good question. Probably 16 seconds into the recording is not really the time to ask that question. But anyway.
Okay. I just noticed. Right. Shit.
No, it's fine. We're going to talk about today stuff.
What about the intro and stuff? The music? And
I didn't do the intro because I've got something secret to do that you can't be part of. I thought I would I'd edit that all in later.
You and your secrets.
Well,
okay.
So
I don't hear it, but everyone else gets to hear it. Is that right?
Oh, for crying out loud! Honestly, really? Are you going to do that? Are you put your bottom lip back where it should be?
You say that you want to put my bottom lip back in, it makes me quite sad because the doctor said I can't do anything about it. Anyway, it's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that flappy lip. Don't worry.
It's
only a problem if you pull your ears up at the same time. Then it looks really weird. Anyway,
I was when I was young. There was a girl on the bus, and I said, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" And she said, "No, I don't." I said, "Why is that?" She said, "I don't think you're very good looking." I said, "Okay." I said, "What about me? What about me don't you like?" I must be like 6 or 7 or something like that. She said she got big lips. So I must have grown into my lips because I don't have particularly big lips. But now I'm looking. I know my bottom lip is quite large, flappy. Anyway, yeah, what are we doing?
I wonder if you ever bumped into that girl again, whether she regrets saying that. Anyway, that is definitely time to move on.
I imagine she would regret
to be honest,
she's been honest.
She wouldn't see your lips now, would they? It'd be too far up in the clouds.
Yeah. So turn around and to look at her, I might knock her out.
Well, there was an intro and a half. Anyway, welcome to this lovely episode of the podcast.
Hello.
We as you may have heard earlier, we don't really know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about something, and we've got a special guest later on that Malcolm unfortunately can't be there to have a chat with. But I will, so that's fine. We'll talk about that one later. But in this here episode, we're sort of just doing a sort of a roundup, catch up. Nothing too heavy because there's some minor little show thing coming up eventually in 2 weeks' time, as we called that. And Malcolm, in fairness, has been very busy as well as I have. So I think what we should do, if I'm honest, right, I'm gonna take control here for a second, if you don't mind. And now I've done that, I've completely mucked up that intro because I haven't got what it is I wanted to do. But anyway, we'll just have that ad lib. It's fine. No one will notice. So I think the first thing we do is we're going to do the Mooseroo Cup. The Mooseroo Cup. The Mooseroo Cup. Yeah, that's something like the jingle. So what's the update on the Mooseroo Cup?
I can't do it unless there's music.
I can't find it.
What do you mean you can't find it? It must be on a button somewhere.
Honestly, no. I can't find it.
All right. Should we do our own then? Should we do an ad lib? Should we do a live acoustic version?
A live? Oh, hang on. I have to get my didgeridoo out and warm that up.
You keep your didgeridoo away from me.
Well, I always point in a different direction. Just bear with me. Bear with me a second. Actually, I'm just wondering whether I'm having a moment.
Maybe you shouldn't have gone live, or shouldn't have started recording until you were ready.
I think the thing is, right, is that when I said we weren't going to be live, I didn't
Yeah.
think I'd need to be totally like on the ball because we weren't going to go live. But now we've got to do an ad lib.
Mm-hmm.
So,
ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Moose Roo Cup. Moose Roo Cup.
Moose Roo Cup. Let's talk about the
Moose Roo Cup. Woo!
Woo! Ah, dear. I sure I've dubbed something else in, I think, for that. But anyway, what's your update? Tell me more.
Okay. We're recording video, or is this just audio?
I am recording video as well because I can see you, and I've just made you big.
Okay. Okay. Let me switch the camera. When I switch cameras, it freezes, so I can go like that. Right. Hello.
Hello.
The Moose Roo Cup. I've done. Feel like I've done loads since the last time we were on. But I have primed it. Before that, I had sanded the life out of it because there were so many problems with the seams and things. Those are all sorted now. Hopefully, we'll see on the front. Will it? Oh, will it? Yeah, almost. There are raised panel lines right around the whole thing. Yeah. So when you're, it's fine. It's fine. When you're sanding it back, obviously you're going to sand those panel lines down. So I've just been very careful and not done that. And then I've added a little bit of plastic over the top, like a shim almost, and then sanded it back. So they are. I can't show you them. But they're basically there. All right. Imagine like all the way around. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So they're back, and then I primed it. I've got the rudder moving and everything, and I just need to put all the little bits and pieces on. The thing I'm worried about is the periscope. Because the periscope's going to have to sit at the top and hit the top of the resin. So I have to put the periscope in the last minute, and then before I pour. So, I got myself some resin, and a bottle of resin, and a bottle of hardener, and that's going to be good. So what I need to do, let's pop them down there. What I need to do is this is the resin box. I need to where my finger is at the bottom here. This panel here needs to be full of gravel and weeds and fish and crabs and whatever is at the bottom of the German River here. And then when I start to pour,
schnitzels.
Loads of schnitzels.
You need some schnitzels in there.
Bratwurst fish.
And
then they go, and then I had to pin this somehow on the top with the periscope sticking against the top. And then once it's dry or cured, I take it all out. I can then stick the rest of the periscope on the top, so it's sticking out of the water. Does that make any sense to you?
It does, but I do have an idea for you.
There's a lot to go wrong.
Yes, I have an idea for you. If you pour a little bit of resin in, and let it go hard. Put your submarine in there. Instead of putting your periscope in there, put a cocktail stick through the side of your mold into said hole for your periscope, and then that should be able to hold it in position while you pour the rest of your or most of your resin. Right.
Well, if it's hard, if I poured it all in and it's hard, and the submarine would sit in the right height if I blocked it on top, and then I pour the rest. Okay. I was thinking of just suspending it, like hooking something on the inside of this lip and just holding it above it and then pouring it. But...
Yeah, could do that.
I could do.
I just thought it would solve your periscope issue.
Yeah, that's true.
Because then you can stick the periscope in later.
Yeah, I need to. Also, this is a bit flimsy. I've strengthened it a bit, but it's still too flimsy. So I'm going to put Lego around it.
Yes,
I'm really nervous about doing it, so I haven't really done much more than that. I need to paint this, obviously. So I've got a couple of steps left before I can even start thinking about pouring resin. And then if it goes all wrong, I'll be starting the other one.
Yes, absolutely. It won't go wrong. It'll be fine.
Don't know. Things go wrong sometimes.
They do. I'll update you with where I am with my moose rebuild, and there you go. As you can see, that's fully up to date.
That's not true. We've done loads.
No, that's it. I've done absolutely nothing since the last time. So both of the submarines from the kit are made. He says using his wheels of his chair to move across the room.
You are assuming, James, that someone watching now would have watched the last one.
Well, that's very true. But I know our fans, you see, they absolutely can't wait to listen to us. Talk about stuff.
Yeah.
So, so as you can see here, while you're listening to this in the car, as you're driving along, you can see quite clearly that both of the submarines are actually painted, decaled, and
great.
Not weathered. They're okay.
No, they look lovely. Look really good.
Yeah. What I've done cleverly, see, I've been clever. What I actually did was I've put both of them on the stand while I painted them.
And
it gave me the ability. He says, "I'll describe it to you." So I have a mini submarine in my hand with torpedoes and the stand in my two fingers, and I can move it around and I can do all the weathering and all that sort of stuff. And obviously they will come out, those stands, because I've made a base, which is a little dock scene, of which those who are watching won't see it because I'm not wheeling over there again. My wheels will wear out. It's a little dock scene, meant to be a river dock scene, where these two will be abandoned and the tide's out. That's the idea. But if I'm honest, the reason it's not progressed any further is because I didn't want to rush ahead. No, I'm lying. Basically, I'm scared less of pouring the resin.
Yeah.
Because I don't have another kit in which I can go, well, I could just start another. I didn't think of that at the time, you see.
Yeah. Well, it's You've also you haven't got the concern that you need to take photographs of it and send it off to Canada.
That is true.
You've got that.
That is true.
Bag.
Yes. I can confirm that is the case. I'm not going to. Well, I will take some pictures, obviously, but I won't be worrying about what.
Have
chaps across the. Oh, yeah, of course. Well, everyone would be dying to see what I didn't do.
They look great. They look really good to me, sitting here in my little shed on the screen. They look great.
40 odd miles away, they look brilliant. Trust me. But yeah, so there we go. That's the Misuru update. We'll talk about what you've been working on a little bit later because I've got a couple of things which I want to talk about that. So we'll do that in a little bit. But the creme de la creme is coming up in a couple of weeks. Malcolm, are you ready?
No, not at all. I've got so much to organise and I haven't done any of it. But I'm refusing to get worried and stressed about it because it's supposed to be a good show, right? It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a hobby. Obviously, I've got responsibilities I need to hit in terms of what I do for Models for Heroes, which those responsibilities are pretty much done. So I know exactly what we're doing, what time we're getting there, how we're setting up, who's setting up, who's not, etc., etc. All the wristbands are allocated. All good. That's fine. What I'm not completely exactly sure is what is going to be on the table. So we operate a open system in that anyone can put stuff on the table who's a veteran, especially if they're a beneficiary of Models for Heroes or someone who just wants to show their stuff off. They can. So we really don't know what's going to be on there. I do know that we have a special display planned next door to Models for Heroes, which is going to be, I'm going to say 9. It's going to be 9 1/18th scale Mitsubishi Zeros.
Wow.
Yeah.
These are the ones why those specifically?
Sorry?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
What did you say?
I said, why specifically those? And you, as I interrupted you, you said they were donated
yeah,
by Agora.
yeah, that's right. They were donated 2 models for Heroes beneficiaries by Agora, and some of them have been finished, some of them not. Yeah, I've asked as many people as possible who are going to Scale Model World, who are a beneficiary, who did receive a 0, to bring them back, and we can have them on display. There's a couple of them that work, and they take off, and they fly, and they have their motors and lights and stuff. Some of them not even finished. So it's going to be great. And I've seen a couple already in real life, and they're amazing. They are just stunning. They're a difficult build. They're an involved build. Yeah, at 1/18th scale, a Mitsubishi Zero doesn't half look cool, especially when you've got all the chipping on it and the weathering on it and everything. So we're going to have, I hope 9. I could say 10, but I'm thinking it's more going to be like 9. Fortunately, I'm not bringing all 9.
No. Well, you would certainly need a much bigger vehicle if you were bringing all 9.
Yeah. But everyone's bringing their own, so yes, it's going to be good. The chap who runs the manager of the show, Mr. Richard Middleton, he has already weighed with his own hands a 0 as well with the base, and he's quite confident that it's going to be enough. The tables are going to be strong enough for all these zeros, because they are quite heavy.
Yeah.
So yeah, come and see us. We're going to be in Hall 3, top corner, where we were last year. If you were there last year, with the Model Sphere stand and the zeros. Yeah, it's going to be great. I absolutely cannot wait. There's a couple of things I do need to do, but it's okay. It's all right. I'll get them done. We'll be fine. What about you?
Well, I think they're going to look brilliant with the 1-to-1 scale Mitsubishi Zero behind you in all 3. How Mr. Middleton has winged that, I got no idea. See what I did there? Winged that. Yeah. Anyway, yes, I've been quite busy. So I think the first thing I want to talk about is JMC. So obviously JMC, we have made big promises this year. Obviously Malcolm is going to be busy. We will wander at one point together, I'm sure. But Malcolm's going to be busy. But we did promise that we would do our own version of the tokens on models in which we thought were amazing. So I have been super busy painting my nuts.
Yes. Now, if you don't know already, the other podcasts do this token thing, don't they? If they like a kit for whatever reason, I think they place a little token that says, "We like your stuff. This is lovely, right?"
Yeah, it's a very nice and mature thing to do. But us being us, have found a way to make it immature. Because obviously, what we are saying when we put our golden nut, this is all handcrafted, and I'm now showing the camera a golden nut. This is actually the king of golden nuts that I've got in my hand right now. There is a reason for that, but I will show you in a picture. So if you look on Facebook, you'll be able to see. But this is the grand golden nut,
Right.
which Malcolm doesn't know anything about this. Okay. But the grand golden nut will be the top nut that will be given to the model that we most love.
Oh, I see. Is there a size thing? So if you get a tiny nut, then
look, at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says to you. If anyone says that your nuts are too small, it's not that. It's the case of what you do with them that makes it all the difference. But in this case, there are some size differences. And when I was putting the gold leaf onto my nuts, I noticed that one was quite large and abnormal. So I thought I would make that the grand golden nut, thus giving us the opportunity to bicker over what we thought was the best.
Oh, wonderful.
The best of the best. Now, obviously, because people may wander around the show and go, why is there the golden nuts everywhere? They won't be everywhere because there's not that many, honestly. I do have a box of my nuts, but anyway, with the said nut will be a JMC sticker, which have been specially organised and printed for the occasion, which have arrived, or yes, they have arrived.
Yeah.
Yes,
I sent you a picture.
They're here.
They were supposed to arrive tomorrow. They've already arrived.
So obviously the two will denote that you'll understand exactly what's going on. So that's I've been busy doing my golden nuts, so they're all ready to go and packed away. I'm going to put the grand golden nut on top there back in the box. I also have got my my membership card has arrived. So there it is. It's in my hand. Showing to the screen now, pulsating at the screen now. That's my membership for the society, and the reason for that is because I have entered. Well, obviously I want to support them as well, but I've also entered a model into the competition. So that is above my shoulder, about there.
Can you get out? Can you get out and show?
I can do. So while I'm getting it out, this is my piece that I was making in relation to the celebration of D-Day and the memory of D-Day and all that sort of thing. That I was challenged by Carl Smith to have completed and entered in said competition.
Yes.
Every 1 second.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see it.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Bear with us. James just taking a phone call in the middle. But it's okay. You can take phone calls. He's finished.
Yeah, no, it's all good. All good. I'll edit that out anyway. It's not a problem. So, yes, as you were alluding to, is the diorama that I am making to commemorate D-Day for this year, and I've chosen to be a little bit fun with it. Fun, is that right? I don't know. Deep? No, deep would be the right word.
Right.
So the diorama has been now named, and it's called The Colour of Sacrifice. And in this said piece, as you can see, I'm holding it up to the camera. I will describe it. So in the coloured section is an old man sitting in a bench all by himself, painted in colour, with his American flag on one arm and his Screaming Eagles on the other arm.
Yeah.
Then behind him, in black and white, or monochrome, because it isn't actually black and white, is his comrades. Now, this serves as the reason I've done it this way is because I wanted to make it look like he was reflecting on his youth, reflecting on the losses of his friends, maybe. You can. There are lots of things you could think this person is doing, but obviously it is all about the sacrifice that have been laid down by young men for our future. But we always remember at remembrance times, we remember those that unfortunately lost their lives and paid the ultimate sacrifice. But what we tend to forget is we don't recognize the sacrifice of those that survived. So that's why it's called The Colours of Sacrifice, is because everyone's made a sacrifice and in some respects still making a sacrifice.
Okay. Yeah.
So and the just to make it a little bit more fun, there is an Easter egg, for want of a better phrase, to try and enforce the message, and that is that there is the gentleman that is in colour specifically has a featureless face.
Okay,
it could be anybody, whereas the features on those in the monochrome section are highlighted properly, so you can see individuals. So it's meant to, it works on lots of different levels, or should I hope?
Are you going to finish the painting at the front, the green?
Yes, as you, I will take a picture of it now. But obviously, what happened was I put a little bit of trim, if you like, around my foam to match the base, but couldn't get it because it was a last-minute thought process. I couldn't get it quite how I wanted it, and I'm going to scare Malcolm now because there is a possibility that I will remove the base completely and start again to make it right, but I don't know yet. Or I will just paint the hide the bits I've made the mistake. So
right, okay.
But yeah, so yeah, that's all but finished. There's a couple of bits and pieces to be done. The base has got to be fiddled around with a little bit more, and a couple of the figures need to be a little bit more pronounced in their features, and I think there's a couple of there's a helmet strap that I've got to put on. I can't remember which figure that is. He's missing his strap, but I've got to put his feet strap on. And that come out wrong. Sorry, I didn't mean it that way at all. A helmet that it's got like a dangly strap where they're some of them are doing them up, or they're basically the figures are all in a. But let's try that again because I really don't like the strap-on comment. That's not going in.
Say it twice now, but come on.
No, just because I've got to edit it out. It's fine. So yeah, the monochrome figures are all in a different state of dress. They're all in a different part of putting their parachutes and their kit together and getting ready for their jump. Some are complete and getting to stand up, in theory, to be going over to the aircraft. Others are literally looking down at all the stuff that they've got to carry and going, well, I'm not a donkey. How can I do this?
Yeah.
I thought it was quite important because there was a lot of kit there to carry.
Yeah, it was. That's the thing that quite shocking, isn't it? The amount of stuff you got to carry on the front and on the back. Yeah. Yeah.
And amazingly, some of them jumped with kit that was on a string.
Yeah.
Tied to them, which they lost, most of them.
Oh, right.
But yeah, it's an interesting build. I've really thoroughly enjoyed doing it.
It's
monochrome is something I wanted to do for a long time. So, but yeah, so it's going in the competition. I don't expect anything from it. If it does something, then great. If it doesn't, that's great too. I'm just glad I completed the build and put it into a competition. That is, as far as I'm concerned, they are the benchmarks. If I complete those two benchmarks, then it's a success.
Hey, listen, the year you've had, if you can get something this year into a competition, especially the competition at Telford, then you've done remarkably well. You should be very proud of yourself.
Do you know what? I'll add on top of that to have one person stand there and look at it and go, oh, and think about what the message is saying.
Yeah.
That'll be the icing on the cake. I don't care about anything else. The whole point of it is to provoke a bit of thought, and it will do that. A lot of it will be like, I can't believe you put that in. That doesn't belong there.
Yes, that's exactly what people
look at his eyes. His eyes are all over the place. They're like, but no. Yeah, no. As long as it makes someone stop and think, it's done its job, and that will make me happy. And like I say, the year I've had this year to have achieved that will be a bit of a buzz. So
yeah, well done.
So that's good. That's all done. Obviously, I won't show it because it is in a cupboard. I'm not getting up to it again. But the P47, 148 P47 from Mini Art buddy build that I'm doing with Carl is continuing. The engine's done. The body is put together, but the engine is not attached to the airframe because I'm going to do all the rest of the aircraft and put the engine on last.
Okay. Wow. And it's put away. We can't see it. It's hidden away.
It's it's about here above my head. It's in there, and I don't want to go and get it. But I'll put a picture up in the paper. You can have a look. Do you know what? I really wanted to keep this tidy, and I've done so well this week.
Yeah, but so tidy you can't see anything. You can't see what you've done.
However, what I will do, just for a bit of fun, and this is the why I don't want to go over there and get that because catch it up on the video. What I will do is I will break tradition and show you a surprise that you don't know anything about. So Something I will be working on shortly, well, in about 3 weeks' time, will be these little fellas. So these are two German soldiers in 1/16. Now, these have been kindly sent to me by 3D Gizmo. We're going to do a little deal with them through Spruebox next year. And these are for me to play with, literally play with. So these are items that they couldn't sell because they've been broken in some way or another, but we're going to play with them. So I've got those two, and then I've got this little chap. So I can't believe I'm getting a little chap out as well. There we go. Got this little chap as well, which is a British soldier with a Sten gun walking along, and the two Germans are sitting down. But yeah, these are some items to play with.
Okay.
And
did you get those? Did I buy those for you?
No. Now, see, I'm glad you mentioned that, because these are something that they've sent to me. We've had a conversation, and basically, Spruebox does an inspiration box, and one of the inspiration boxes will involve 3D Gizmo.
Okay.
So, and I am busy. I can't believe you make me go to another cupboard.
You're the one who puts it away. You have a podcast to do. I know I'll put everything I do away into a box so no one can see what I'm doing. Everything I've got on my desk here is out and busy and messy, and because it's my space, I don't have to tidy the living up. You want to know what I had for dinner yesterday? Probably still on a plate over there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he had fish tonight. So yeah, this is the figure that you bought for me at one of the shows, which is a 1/16 American GI sat with his rifle across his knees.
Yes, I've got one very similar.
Now, you've got one. I think you've got one identical, if I remember correctly.
It's very, very similar.
Hang on a minute. Let's just double check that out. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, it's so similar that he's not got anywhere near his knees. But anyway. But yeah, so we now the funny part is we actually, if you remember, going back, I don't know, in the late 18th century, we actually challenged each other to paint these figures, this one that's in my hand and the one that and the one that's in your hand, without either of us knowing. And then once they were complete, we were to swap and send them to each other.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
It was your idea.
Oh, was it? That's a great idea.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I've been in communication with 3D Gizmo, and we have a challenge on the cards involving that said piece.
Oh, well, you and me?
Yeah, well, we have the challenge anyway, where we're going to paint them and send them to each other without actually discussing or showing it to each other until we do the reveal.
Oh, okay.
But I've got, well, you know me, I've modified the challenge so it's a bit more inclusive. It's not just me and you.
You've modified it so it's really difficult. Yeah.
No, I'm going to say no. I've not made it. Oh, I know. Let's make it into the impossible task, because it's possible. But it will be doing something in which I've never done before.
Cool. Let's challenge those boundaries.
The reason I've done it that way is because it will be going into an inspiration box next year.
I see. Cool. That's great.
But there you go.
Well done.
So yeah, so I've got those. I'm going to fiddle with those up to New Year. I'm going to fiddle with my 1/16 men, and that I think is my roundup.
Well,
So,
lovely.
yeah.
That's really good. I haven't done anything other than the submarine stuff. I've been kind of distracted. So busy with Models for Heroes. So any evenings that I get to spend in here, I'm doing emails or working or whatever. And I do a lot of Zoom sessions with beneficiaries through the week. I just find that I've done more than I usually do over the last few months, which is fine. But I don't mind doing that. But it means my modelling kind of suffers. Which, hey, it happens. It's a hobby. Sometimes you're busy, sometimes you do loads. I was talking to one of my friends today, actually, and they said, "Oh, they've done 15 model builds this week, this year. 15. Oh, bloody hell, we've done three.
Mm.
Three. So how many I've done. But they're big builds, like the 747 and that Gladiator that crashed into the book and all that stuff. So, that's okay. And the excavator, obviously, that was a big old build. Took a long time.
That was a very big
All
build.
will be at Scale Model World. It was,
Ooh.
yeah, with lights and all that. That'll be at Scale Model World. Looking forward to seeing that there. But I have been kind of recently just kind of distracted off scale modeling. So I've been actually getting into doing some wargaming stuff, mainly because my daughter said she wants to play Dungeons and Dragons with me. So I've been I've been doing some like little figures and things, Dungeons and Dragons-y stuff. So I have one here. I don't know if it's going to focus. Let it focus. There we go.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, so that's been fun doing that. What else? Also, I've been playing trying to paint up some bolt action. If you know what that is a war game from World War II. Well, no, that's not true. It's not a war game from World War II. It's a war game about World War II.
That's correct.
You have loads of figures, and they're all different units and things like that, and then you play with your men.
Yes.
And some of the ones I have are metal. And you can see them here.
Focus. Ooh.
Yeah.
And they've been mounted on a crisp?
Yeah, that's right. They've been mounted on a crisp just while I got hold of the proper bases that you're supposed to put on.
Pringles.
Yeah, they're mounted on salt and vinegar. And yeah, they'll be mounted on proper bases and stuff. Pretty flowers and as you do. So yeah, really looking forward to putting those together. And I think it's because I've done so many big heavy builds this year that I quite like the idea of just getting something, painting it, and putting it down, done.
Yeah.
Like the submarine just feels like it's going on and on and on. And yeah, maybe I should have just done a submarine in the water.
I disagree. I think this year you've done amazing strides, and you've enjoyed the scratch building element of things.
Yeah, I did.
Adding flashing lights, you thoroughly enjoyed as well. I think that's just how modelling sometimes happens, and sometimes you do model making, and it is that sort of thing. You stick it together, paint it, done. Oh, I'll do another one. Stick it together, paint it, done. Or you go crazy. You're just having one of those years. So no, it's good, really, really good, and great to see as well. So yeah, it's inspiring.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, thank you. I'm glad you think so. Well, we'll see how it goes. How that pour goes. That resin pour might change everything.
Yes. Then it might be.
I
wish you'd just stuck to it, making it easy, Malcolm. I don't know why you make things so complicated. It'd be quite interesting to have that conversation, to be honest. It's ironic, maybe. So that's obviously what we've been working on, and we're getting things ready for Telford and stuff. But at Telford, is there anything that you want to go make sure you make a beeline to see, or maybe to pick up, or stuff?
God, there is a big old list of people I want to go see. I want to go see the Revell stand and see what Luke has done with that. Or is it Luke and Andrew?
Luke and Andrew, yeah.
Andrew, yeah. See what they're doing with that. I am looking forward to seeing how absolutely massive and how absolutely big and huge and long and evasive the Jadlam stand is going to be. It's like half a hole. So yeah, looking forward to witnessing the capitalism that is in front of us. I am looking forward to meeting loads of different people. I couldn't list them all here because it would take too long. But there's some people I haven't seen since last year, so it'd be good to see them. I'm looking forward to seeing what's the name? Mitch's Military Models.
Yeah.
They're always a fantastic stand, and I just haven't seen them this year. I guess I just haven't been at the same shows they have, but they've always got a brilliant stand. So I'm looking forward to going there and having a squiz. Also, like we said already, 3D Gizmo as well. He's got a good stand. And I wonder if he's going to be scanning anyone this year.
Oh, I don't know. He's over with the Frome Model Centre, I think, isn't he? This year, from what I remember.
Well, it makes sense because they're quite close to each other. So yes, that will be interesting. I hope so. I hope they do. They've got a turntable that can take like 300-pound people on it. So so
I can put my left leg on there then.
Yeah, one at a time, please. He's got this turntable. You stand on it, and then he just goes up and down with a camera on your body and scans you, and then he can send you a file with your face and body and everything on it, so you could be put into anything if you like. Yeah, we should get a bust of you.
Why did you just give me ideas? Honestly,
that'd be great. So I'd like to get a bust of you. That'd be fun. Paint that up. Bust? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was more thinking of seeing if he was up for the challenge of 3D scanning both of us, and then challenging our listeners to put us in a diorama next year. That'd be fun.
Somewhere.
We are the Easter eggs.
In the whole of all the models in Scout Model World, there will be. Do you know what would be absolutely amazing?
What would be awesome would be if we did that, and then someone got hold of the file, printed us out, and put us in a golden walnut.
Yeah. Well, we have been before. Do you remember?
Yeah, well, no, we have been. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I've still got that over there. Us in the walnut recording podcasts.
Yeah,
that was cool. So those are the two things I'm looking forward to, and just being at there and every single person there wanting to look at models and enjoy and revel in everything. See what I did there, Ravel?
I did, yeah. Very good.
Yeah. The guys from Airfix as well, they've always been very helpful. I'm looking forward to delivering them a huge big bag of flying hours, which M4H collects during the year. It's going to be very M4H heavy for me this year. As you know, I've got a lot of people to see, and we've got a lot of model kits to be donated. We've got a van full already, and we haven't even been there yet.
Yep.
So if you are going to Scout Model World and Telford, please bring your models along if you want to donate them to some beneficiaries. Help our bravest with the fantastic hobby that we have. That'd be great. Come and bring them to the Models for Heroes table. Airfix is going to be doing some promo for us. Very kind of them about donating your models, which they did last year, and we got a bit swamped. It was fun. What else am I looking forward to? Gosh, put me on the spot. Yeah, that's pretty much it that I can think of now. What about you?
So for me, it's all about the social this year. Obviously, I will be helping out yourself, as well as the Friends for Models for Heroes. I'm going to be helping both those tables to a point. But I want to bump into a load of people that I haven't seen for a year, catch up with people. I want to go and pick up some tools and bits and pieces. I've got a little bit of a shopping list this year, which is unusual.
Squires have got a big, long table.
Squires will be hit. So I think will be the right phrase. I will be there with my van, just behind the store, saying some of that. Oh, a bit more of that. So we're gonna do that. I want to make sure I go and see Gash Patch, because they'll be there this year. I've got a sneaky feeling I'll have something on that store that I really want. That's on the list.
ICM will be there.
ICM will be there. Yes. So it'd be nice to catch up with them, have a chat, and see what they're doing. Yeah, that'd be cool. Obviously with Val for me as well. Like I can see Luke, going to tease him a little bit, make him happy.
Oh yeah, you plan on doing that?
Well, I might have a little. Yes, I might have a little something up my sleeve. Anyway. Oh, hello.
Can I watch?
My watch? No, it's not my watch. I'm not giving you my watch.
Moving on.
Forward. Yeah, so just those, but there are a few kits in which I want as well.
Okay. Yep.
So there'll be things I'll be looking out for, I think will be the right phrase. I'm not sure my purse strings will stretch as far as I want them to, but I will be looking out for a few kits. There's a few ideas that I have for next year for me, one of which will be a very long build. So I got to look for the elements that I want for that.
Okay.
And no doubt I'll go off on a tangent because I'll see something and go, oh, well, it's not what I wanted, but I can do that too.
Can you tell us what that is, that long build? Is there a secret behind it?
No, there's no secret behind it. There are two that I have in mind. One is involving a load of scratch building that I should really not be that insane about.
Yeah.
Which will include all I will tell you, it's basically an aircraft carrier.
Oh, well, okay.
But it's not the whole, not all of it. Come on, I'm not that silly. But it will be a substantial part of it.
Oh, okay. Right.
So that's one that I've got. I've got to one side. It's something actually that I sat and designed while I was in hospital. So that's something which I'd like to start. I don't think I'll do it in a year. It might take a little bit longer.
Okay.
But anyway, and then the other one that I've got, I haven't quite figured out the size of it yet, because that'll involve scratch building as well. But it'll be street scene. I think would probably be the closest I can tell you.
Okay. All right.
So yeah. But that'll involve a lot of scratch building and bits and pieces. I've seen a lot of things. There's a lot of things out there that I could buy the product, and it wouldn't take me. It would take me a couple of months. Right. But me being me, I've seen these things and gone, oh yeah, that's very good. Oh, that's very clever. I like how they've done that and this. Or if I do it like this, I can scratch build it. Yeah. So. Yes, hopefully God will be on my side and make it easy for me. Yeah, and I may have just accidentally given you a big clue there, but anyway, yeah. So that's things in which I've got to look out for, and I will need a substantial amount of items to achieve that. No, not money per se. I've already figured out some of the stonework that's required and how to achieve it without actually using stone. Because carving stone would take months and years.
It would. Yes. Maybe the same technique you used on the dock of the submarine, because that's worked well.
Oh yes, similar. Yes. But however, I have discovered that a bag of pebbles doesn't cost that much. It's just the physical carving that takes the time.
Okay, right. A bag of walnuts doesn't cost much either.
No. But they're all gold, and I can't take the gold leaf off now. That would be wrong.
One thing I'm looking forward to buying is some Plasticard. Hopefully there'll be somebody there selling thick Plasticard all the way down to thin stuff. I don't know who would, but I will be looking out. So if you see anyone,
Squires should have it.
Okay,
there are other manufacturers and out there. Yeah.
If you see anyone, just give me a shout. I'll go over there.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. Exciting. Oh, thank you very much to everyone who's listening. Are we wrapping up now?
Yep. Well,
cool.
Obviously, we have the interview coming up in a second or two. Malcolm's got to go and wash the dishes. But while he's washing the dishes, we will speak with this person.
Yes, I can't be here for it. So
no,
leave. Yes. All right.
Go and
Well,
do
you enjoy
chores.
your
Anyway,
interview, and
I will do.
we'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.
So I'd like to welcome into the studio a very, very nice man. He is here to talk about IPMS and the amazing show that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time now at Telford, which is the Society's annual event. It's the wonderful Mark from IPMS UK. How are you, Mark? How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, James. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Would you like, because I've introduced you very badly, would you like to introduce who you are, what is your role within IPMS and the show that's coming up, whatever that may be?
Okay. Well, I'm Mark. I am the new IPMS UK publicity officer. I've been in the role not a very long period of time, but I've kind of been an IPMS member for a couple of years now, and I'm also a member of our local IPMS branch, which is Farnborough. And also I'm a co-admin on one of the SIGs as well, special interest groups. And I think the thing I'd like to talk about tonight, James, is if nobody hasn't already known, is Scale Model World.
What's that?
Oh, wow. I actually have you and Malcolm to thank for this, because I would never have known about Scale Model World 2 years ago. And I listened to JMC podcast, and I heard the post podcast review, let's call it, report. And I thought, I've got to go to that. I've got to join IPMS. And that's where it all started. So I have JMC to thank for actually my IPMS journey.
Well, we apologise profusely for that, if there's an apology needed. But yeah, we're really glad to. That I didn't know that actually before we went live. So recording. So that's amazing. That's taken me away a bit. So what's in this publicity role that you've got? What is that all about? Tell me more.
So I'm basically my role is to champion IPMS across to any scale modelers to try and convince new people who aren't part of scale model, who do scale model individually or a part of a branch that's not affiliated to IPMS, to become a member, and also to look after our existing members and kind of make them feel loved and cuddled and like we all, and kind of supported. And I think my role, I was very keen on when I joined, was to basically try and haul IPMS, as I've been referred to, as some people refer to it as a bit of a dinosaur, into the 20th century, to try and kind of make it an amazing organisation. And because I found it to be amazing through my my branch, which is Farnborough, as I mentioned. They're an amazing group of guys, and I love them to pieces. And it's kind of changed my kind of view of scale modelling massively.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, from my point of view, I've been a member of IPMS for some time. I don't know how many years, in all honesty. I'd like to say 10, but it might be more, it might be less. I'm not sure. But anyway, people's opinion of IPMS, as you said, it's a bit stuck in its ways. The modern world is going on around it. It does its show, and there are other big shows around the world. Do things differently, etc., etc. But we all know, I think, I think we need to be fair to the society in that, like you said, you're a member of a local branch, and bringing all those branches together once a year, and all the ideas that all those people within the branches would have, must be an absolute minefield.
Yeah, it can be, and I think the organisational side of it is huge. Luckily, I only deal with a small part of it. I'm not kind of like the kind of sole main person that deals with it. That's another chap. But I've kind of it's kind of snowball. It's starting to snowball now, and I'm kind of like very keen on kind of really promoting not only the show to people who aren't aware of it, but also to the members that hopefully are going to go, and also trying to make the retailers, the traders that are going to be going as well, that they're getting best value for money, that through what the IPMS can do for them to make the show as best as better than it was last year, or as years. So it's kind of that's one of my key key things. And it's all, I've focused a lot of stuff through social media, most recently, and we now have an Instagram presence. We also have a kind of strong Facebook groups as well. So it's kind of, I've been sort of kind of marshalling my way around those and keeping everyone on the straight and narrow, and trying to introducing some new things as well that I don't think have been used before. I think mainly to do with with the time and also lack of familiarity. And one of my day job, I have a lot to do with social media anyway, so it's something that lends itself quite well to it. Oh,
perfect position then for you, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's using the skills that you use every day. Yeah, absolutely. What are we expecting for 2024? Is anyone going to notice anything majorly different to last year? Because the reason I asked that question isn't to trip anybody up or anything like that. I don't read an awful lot of Facebook posts and etc. because there does seem to be at times a bandwagon sort of approach to commenting on certain things. But I did notice last week, I think it was, there was a comment in relation to the European side of the show, which obviously has taken quite a bit of a hit of late with the Brexit, the big B, and COVID and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, what are we going to see this year that was different to last, and what are we hoping to build on?
Well, I think we've obviously got there's quite a few more European, not only retailers, but also special interest groups as well, or clubs that are coming over. We've got Edward are going to be back as they were last year. There's also a couple other ones. I think Copper State Models. You ever heard of Copper State Models? They're going to be there as well. Also, though it's not totally confirmed, ICM potentially are going to be there as well, which wasn't there last year. And we've got kind of like branches that range from Pakistan, Sweden, Switzerland, and various other parts of the globe. So I think it's going to be a lot more kind of European presence than there was the last year, hopefully pre-Brexit and COVID and whatnot. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Because I'll be honest, I did. They made it very special. I got to be honest, because we are a worldwide family, aren't we? But us model makers, and to have not just a load of English people sitting around eating sausage rolls and talking about bacon sandwiches that they had the morning after, or how many beers they managed to swill before they got to the bench. I made a really dark picture. I didn't mean to, but yeah. to have other influences is always good. Always good.
Oat milk lattes this year, James. Oat milk lattes and cinnamon bread. Yeah, it's going to be.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
I didn't realise.
I promise that.
I didn't realise that you'd upscaled the catering as well.
Yeah,
well done, you, Mark.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I might have overstepped there. I think I might have sold something. If anyone's going to plan to go oat milk latte, then
I'm looking forward to I'm going to expect that now. My oatmeal latte. I might regret it, but yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. So yeah, I mean, I had a very sneaky peek. I generally don't look at who's there. I leave that really to the last minute, and I'll be totally honest. The main reason for that is to stop me from making a big shopping list.
Yeah.
But I had a sneaky peek and looked through there and see some names that were new. Some of our staple people as well. So obviously Airfix will be there.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be making an announcement of some description. Who knows? It's all under wraps. Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, you've got Revell there as well. I know that's going to be slightly different to other years because obviously Revell used to come over with from Germany, and this time we've now got a little bit more of a UK influence with Revell. So that's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, very keen they are.
Yeah, so that could be fun. But as we were talking about manufacturing, I mean, obviously you mentioned ICM there. They're not confirmed at this stage. I mean, we are the 25th of October. They're not confirmed. Is that right?
From last discussions I had, they're not 100% confirmed, but
No, that's okay.
It's looking hopeful. I mean, it's kind of very, and I think they would be a great addition, really. I mean, I love ICM kits.
Me too.
I'll even have one on my shopping list for. Hopefully, it'll be there because you're one of the retailers, but all them. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be there.
Cool. So obviously, that's really good to see some of the big manufacturers turning up. I mean, ICM, obviously, given the circumstances of where they are and all that sort of stuff, I'm sure it's going to be logistical, interesting for them to do. I think it'll be the best way of putting it. But is that the plan for IPMS now to reinvigorate the show with some of our manufacturers more of our manufacturers turning up? Is that what we're hoping to see in the future?
I think it's a fine balance between kind of having that big manufacturer presence, but also giving the opportunity for smaller scale, kind of retailers which offer things a bit more boutique or kind of more niche. And we most of the time we only get the chance to see, kind of interact with them online, and we don't get a chance to actually talk to the people, because normally they're the actual creators as well, which is great. And it's, I mean, for myself, I'm quite excited about a couple that are coming over. That I've had conversations with over the last couple of days, actually, and I think those made it for me last year, because they see, as well as the buzz with like Airfix and the kind of larger kind of retailers that we have. But seeing some of those things and being able to buy, pick up the odd bit of resin, kind of some sort of stowage, or kind of like some figures, quite often is quite interesting and quite good to look at, and just get something that's you wouldn't normally you'd be able to purchase through the kind of regular retailers that we all use online.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I like about the Telford is that I mean, don't get me wrong, I love to see ICM and Airfix and all that, but they're there to talk for me, in my opinion. They're there to talk to and express what they've done in that year well, and what they've done badly, to feed that back, to see what's coming around the corner, maybe that sort of thing. But to physically buy, I wouldn't expect that from a manufacturer. I would expect that from the stores that attend, the hobby shops, the big and the small ones that they are, and also the smaller manufacturers as well, because like the people like Mitch's Military Models, for example, love his figures. I will give a few people a shout out, but it's not because I've any other reason that I've bought their products and I like them. So then, for example, Copper Stated, which we've spoken about earlier, phenomenal detail, etc. Right down to the decal guys, the little stand that's got acres and acres of B-17 or other aircraft, different schemes, etc. Or the reference books, or the chap who's selling kits that are all second hand, and you find some amazing items in that, don't you?
Yeah.
So that is what for me I enjoy about the show. But it would be nice to see not just the main manufacturers, but maybe some odd ones we might not expect. I mean, is there a chance of that maybe?
Potentially. I think this year we've got a few kind of newer, smaller ones that I don't remember from last year. We've also got conversations that we've been having with kind of larger scale manufacturers as well, that are now got a sort of slight presence there, not an official presence, but they will be hopefully next year. That will be they'll be there themselves. And I kind of say that's Bandai, that who are going to be there basically through Jadlam, are there kind of from their retail kind of UK stockists, and they're going to be supporting a lot of the Gundam kits, and there will be the Bandai's Gundam workshop that will be there as well, which is a bit like, no one's ever seen that before. That's very much like Airfix Make and Take. So where you can you can come along, you can sit down, and you can basically put together kind of a exclusive Gundam that's actually won't be. You can't buy it through the shop. You can't buy it through the shops, and you can put it together there and then, and kind of experience the joys of that kind of side of the hobby, like you can if you were going to build an Airfix stance.
Oh wow, that's brilliant. So we obviously got the opportunity here to expand some of the areas in which sometimes there's a little bit of flack about, maybe within the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the key things. One of my roles is that I'm not a traditional kind of like scale modeler. I will build anything. I see stuff on eBay and I think, oh right, I'll build that, and that might be anything from a Star Wars X-wing to I think I bought a few weeks ago. I bought a Maus German, kind of like tank. I think it was not the Tacom kit, it was the Hobby 2000 kit.
Hobby 2000, yeah.
I bought that one, so I plan to build that, and so I build all sorts of stuff, and I think I kind of come to this role wanting to everyone to kind of like embrace all the different forms of modeling, and I think my plan for next year is I would love to have kind of do a little bit of a sort of social experiment and take a traditional armor modeler, really good armor modeler, and basically give them a Gundam kit and ask them to complete it in the how they would treat a an armor model, and also then take an armor kit and give that to someone who does normally Gundam and get them to do their sort of side of it, and then see what and actually get them entered into the competition. I think that'd be quite interesting to see how it would go.
Yeah.
But I think it was a bit too late this year, my idea.
No, but it's good that you've had it at this point, because you've got the scope to really find the right person and plant the seed, so to speak. Because, I mean, obviously, if you're going to do that, there's the possibility that some Gundam modelers might want to be putting some stuff into the competition there, and expand that side of things, which would be quite cool. It's a good plug, actually, while we're talking about the competition. So what's new about the competition this year?
The competition has a new area, a new dedicated area. I know there was some comments about the previous year. I myself found it quite cramped, and there was some of the wonderful diorama stuff didn't really get enough room for you to actually look at it. It wasn't positioned well, but we now have a new area that we're going to be using, which has much better lighting and much more space. So the competition area is going to have a much more kind of dedicated space, so people can actually see all this great stuff on show, and hopefully we'll have even more entries than we did last time.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So whereabouts will that be in the Telford Centre?
So it's in, if memory serves correct, that's a place called the Ludlow Suite. So if anyone's been before, it's when you enter the Telford Centre, and rather than turning left and walking kind of along the concourse and then going in right and round, you will actually come in and you would turn almost immediately right, and that area is there. It is a very long room was part of another part of the hall. So that's been in this go. We had options to take up a couple of different places, and that one was chosen as the best one for that particular reasons of light and space.
Yeah, so that would be to some of the oldies that have been going to the show for a while. That would be where they used to do the kit swap, I seem to remember. And it's next door to the little restaurant as well, I think. Maybe there used to be
possibly.
Yeah, possibly. Because if you come through the main doors and walk directly ahead, you can go out the other side.
Yes,
there's the back entrance there, isn't there?
Exactly.
So, yeah. Oh, no, it's cool. I mean, obviously the competition area is important. I was quite impressed with seeing it in the main hall. I was intrigued to see how it would be taken. How people would perceive that, the lighting, etc. The lighting upstairs on the on the balcony, I'd call the balcony where it used to be, was a weird lighting. It wasn't dark by any means, but it was very strange color, I think.
Yeah, you had two levels, didn't you? Because it was quite low, and then you had the open part of the kind of atrium. So I mean, that we did have the option to have that again, but we kind of like made a discussion that the Ludlow area was much better. And I think what's happened is it means that we've now got more room in the main halls. We've got all three halls again to have more stands, more retailers, more everything. So we can get more of that in, and not kind of at the detriment of the competition, really.
No, absolutely. Well, I think I understand why it was done, funds and all the rest of it, and the show slimming down for other reasons, etc. But it's nice to see it being built back up again, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So that's good. So let's just leave that there, park that there for a second. I want to talk about you and about your model making, because you've made some comments about what you do and don't do. So tell us a little bit about your history as a model maker.
So I like pretty much everybody, built Airfix when I was young with my dad. My dad's a massive railway modeler, still is, and I grew up kind of like immersed in railway modeling, and I was much more always keen on the kind of diorama side, that when he was more interested with the kind of the railway locomotives and stuff. And he had, therefore, I kind of did it. I did a fair amount of, I did my Lancasters and Spitfires and Messerschmitts and all those sort of things. And I think I actually, unlike a lot of people, I actually went to university and actually got into more of the Star Wars, or the kind of NPC sort of Star Wars kits of the shuttle and the X-wing and the TIE fighters, all those sort of things. And then then it got parked again, really. And then I think I had it. It was kind of, I wasn't necessarily a COVID. Went back to it a COVID. It was kind of after that. I just had my dad actually bought me a Airfix Spitfire, and I was just as a birthday present, a bit of a kind of, I think it was a bit of a joke, really. And I just thought, I actually quite like building this, and I then built a Tamiya F1 Ferrari, because I'm a big Ferrari fan, and that kind of steamrolled from there now. And now I build everything. So anything I've built things from. I'm looking up at my shelves up there. I've got a Airfix Buccaneer. I've got there's a Revell PT boat, a DeLorean from Back to the Future, TIE Fighter, Hurricane, and my desk at the moment is like full of Gundam bits and bobs for that. And then it's something I've actually passed on to my daughter as well. My daughter's she's very keen on building as well. She builds a bit of Gundam and dioramas. She quite likes that as well.
Excellent. So, do you, with your building, do you manage to sit down with your daughter at the same bench and build together, although maybe not the same thing?
Yeah, we do. We do. Okay, we do have. She kind of tends to sit at the kitchen table, and I sit at my bench, which is behind me. And we kind of. She's very. She loves watching a lot of things on YouTube. She's watched a bit of Night Shift on YouTube, and she's watched a bit of various other things as well. And she's been along a lot of scale model shows as well with me. So I sort of like turn up, and my club always say, if I've got my shadow with me, and she's always there. It kind of like, she always likes to buy bits of diorama stuff. She's very disappointed there's not many dragons at scale model shows. Yes. Unfortunately, distinct lack of dragons.
Yeah. I can totally sympathise with that. I agree with that. There should be much more dragons.
Yeah, she's a very big fan on that. But yeah, we talk about it quite a lot, actually. I think even this evening we actually watched a video of a particular channel that she's a massive fan of, that makes all sorts of dioramas and cosplay stuff and all sorts of things.
Oh, that's excellent. I like to hear that. I like to hear the generations. I mean, obviously, sympathies for your father being a railway model maker, but we can't we can't have everything. But no, that's good, because as we were saying earlier before we started recording, the transfer of knowledge is always a good thing anyway, especially across the generations. But obviously your father would have experienced a different type of model making in the genre that he's in, as well as the period as well. And I'm sure, would you transfer techniques between you? Would you sit and talk over Christmas dinner about the art of spraying with an airbrush?
Yeah, we quite often talk about things and share what we've been working on. And he's kind of he has a particular way of, he introduced me to airbrushing. He's kind of, I've used his airbrush, was the first airbrush I ever used. He had a particular technique, and he likes particular paints as well. And I kind of adapted my kind of way, and we discussed things like, I think he even asked me recently about, kind of pre and post shading and things like that, rather than just basically a flat color and then gloss it, which he tends to do. I steal quite a lot of his wire and various other supplies that he has, and I'm always stealing his static grass applicator. Because I think it's quite a nice thing actually we kind of trade stories, and we always ask about what shows you've been to and stuff like that as well.
Oh, it's very special. It's very special. I'm sitting here in awe, if I'm honest, because my father is a model railway enthusiast. I say enthusiast because he's got all the stuff, but never ever made anything. Apart from a very small track that he made for me once, but everything is there for when he retires. Now he's in his 85 now, and I think I'm fairly certain he retired about 20 odd years ago, but I might be wrong. But apparently he's still waiting. So we don't have that. We have a bond about model making, obviously, but we don't have that experience of exchanging ideas. My brother was a model maker until it all went terribly wrong, and then he'd never touched it since. So the same thing, really. I'm sort of alone. My daughter's done a little dabbling here and there, but not overly keen. The grandchild, or grandson rather, has been around and done a little bit, but he's not quite at that point where I can say he's keen yet. But good for you. So pleased for you. Must be awesome. And more dragons, definitely.
Yeah, more dragons, definitely. Dragons.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to ask you about you was that we've spoken about the fact that I didn't look at the traders too much, etc. I mean, obviously you're looking at the traders because you're involved in how the show's going to be put together, etc. So your shopping list must be horrendous. Is that right?
I'm under strict instructions about that my stash can't grow anymore. So unfortunately, so I think I'll be purchased maybe one or two kits maybe, but I think I've got a good list of more kind of tools and things like that, because I think one of the key things is that I've fallen foul of buying something online and thinking, oh yeah, that's perfect, and then when it actually turns up in the post, it's the wrong size or doesn't do the right thing I thought it would be. So it's quite nice to actually see it all in front of you and be able to go, yeah, I do need a new set of nippers that do that, or I do need a set of files that do this. So I think that's what I'm kind of quite keen at, and any sort of diorama things as well. I kind of quite often love doing dioramas. I never do a model and it's just a model. It has to be in something it does, whether it's a kind of more of a vignette or if it's more of a proper diorama. So yeah,
every model needs a base.
Yeah, exactly.
Every model needs a base, and if you want to call it a diorama, then it's a diorama. I'm the same.
Yeah, we had our club stand this year actually for Farnborough was to celebrate 50 years of Farnborough as a club, and everybody had to do something to do with Farnborough itself. And I did start off because I actually got we had a lot of list of long captured aircraft that were found their way to there to be tested by the RAF, and I did start off building the new, well, it was the new last year Airfix ME 410. I kind of ran into complications with the canopy, and it's been put away I don't even want to look at it now. And I thought to myself, I looked through the list and I saw there was a Fiat on there, Fiat Falco CR42.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a big thing about Italian cars. My first car was a Fiat. I thought, I'm going to build a Fiat. I love it. It's perfect. And then I found out that one of my fellow club members was already doing it. In actual fact, we both had decided on the Italieri 1/48 scale version. And I was like, really? And then then it kind of dawned on us that the story of this aircraft actually wasn't just a case of it was captured by the RAF, the Allies, and then went to Farnborough. It had a sort of like funny story about it. So we've actually put the two together. He's got the version that's the captured in the RAF markings, and I've got the Italian one that how it got to be captured. And we both modeled them on bases. We bought the same base. We even went to we bought the same paint. We were going to have the same mask and everything for the camo and everything. So we collaborated quite a lot on the two aircraft. That they kind of look fairly similar. I'll probably say his build quality is better than mine. Don't look too close at my one. But the way it's actually I got carried away with the base. I literally, I've got figures, and so it's got some figures with it as well. And it I think that was the whole thing. I love telling the story with when you build something, even if it's just that, maybe just down to the weathering that it's had, or but if it's on a base and it's got something about it, I love it.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I love doing dioramas, is because no matter what object you're making, you can make a story for that object. And it seems, for me personally, it always seems to come across much nicer than let's say an airplane put on a mirrored base so you can see underneath, which is a perfectly legitimate and good idea, because you put a lot of effort into the underneath for an aircraft. Malcolm might not, because he doesn't like underneath things, but that's a whole different story. But it always for me makes me feel sad, because it's like, I see all the underneath and it looks absolutely amazing. You've got a lot of effort, but it's almost got no story. So I mean, you talked about captured aircraft. I was actually challenged to do a Stuka. This was a few years ago now, about 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, oh, really? Oh, all right, I'll do it. And I was like, but then I found a picture of one that had been caught in North Africa, and it had a little sign next to it that said "Under New Management" as they were painting the roundels. It's quite a famous picture. So I did that, and I was like, oh, yes, I love that. Thought I'd been absolutely amazingly clever, until I realised that lots of people had done it before. But I'm the same.
Yeah,
I even made the wooden sign, and anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. But it's dioramas are the best. I don't know why these aircraft modelers do it, really. Let's stop, because I'm going to get myself in trouble.
We'll get lynched.
Yeah, we will. Cool. So obviously, the show is in a couple of weeks' time. It's on the 9th, 10th of November.
Yep.
At the Telford International Centre in Telford, UK. Is it too late to buy tickets, or how is the ticketing situation going?
It's not too late to buy tickets. There are no tickets available on the door. You can't rock up and buy a ticket on the day. You can buy them on the day electronically via the website, which you can visit, which is IPMS UK.org, and you'll find the links on the homepage to buying the tickets. It's £25 per day. It opens at 10 a.m. on Saturday and finishes at 6, and on Sunday it's 10 a.m. till 4. If you are an IPMS member, you don't have to buy a ticket. Your member card is your ticket. Make sure you please take your member card with you, and are there, and make sure it's valid as well, that you can then show on the door. All IPMS members get in slightly earlier as well, so they get in priority access. And anybody else who wants to join the IPMS, then I think that you only have 5 days left to do it before there is a sort of kind of freeze while over the scale model kind of weekend so that nobody can join in there, mainly due to the fact that we just can't deal with the logistics of membership cards at such short notice, that people get them so they can bring them along to prove they actually are a member. So
yeah, they did used to. I know this was something that recently was in a post that I happened to read, and I know that there was comments in relation to why they used to do it at the door, why can't they do it, etc., etc. But the logistics, like you say, is a nightmare. So yeah, if you're not a member already, then please do go over to the website and be a member. While I'm busy talking, I'm actually trying to look up on your website when the closing part is. I do believe it is the end of this month, i.e. October.
Yeah, I think it's the 30th, actually.
Yeah, I think it's the 30th from what I remember. Because I actually, funny enough, only just recently renewed my membership because I realised it had expired. Yeah, the 30th. So yeah, so you got a few days. This podcast will be going out before the 30th, so you should have a couple of days. It won't be 5, but it will be a couple of days without doubt, I'm sure. So yeah, and just bear in mind, obviously, that maybe it's a little bit too late to do this year because of getting it through the post, etc. So that might be a bit of a complication in itself, but you've always got it for next year, right?
Yep. Oh, definitely. Yeah. So you have it. You'll be able to take advantage of that early access and not have to pay the £25. Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you go both days, that's £50 you'd spend, which is less than a year's membership for the IPMS, and you obviously get lots of other stuff included as well as part of your membership. So it's kind of worth it to be a member. But if you kind of miss the boat a bit, then you only fancy going one day, then you can easily buy a ticket.
So something I didn't say to you earlier, but I wanted to touch on with you tonight, as we're discussing this, is part of the membership is we get a magazine, don't we? Quarterly magazine, I think that's right.
No, you get 6 issues a year, so it's bi-monthly.
Ah, there we go. So bi-monthly. So one of the things in which I wanted to say and shout out on your behalf was anyone that's listening to this and has a really good idea for an article, put your article together and get in contact with the guys at IPMS to see if you can put your article in the magazine. The reason I say that is because I've heard lots of mumbling from people about the magazine not being very good. You know, it's not got a lot of stuff in it, etc., etc. But I don't see an awful lot of people wanting to help. So, what would you like to shout out about that, Mark?
I think it's always, I don't think, one of the things people will always think is that, my model's not good enough, I can't write an article. Those are the sort of stumbling, kind of barrier to entries I imagine people have. Don't worry about it. You know, if everybody, we all learn from each other. So it's always interesting to talk to people about their models or see their models. And quite often I've been to shows and I've actually seen a model I've seen in the magazine that I then talk to the modeler there and then. We can discuss things about it. So if you have done something that you particularly like, you think it's quite good or unusual, that maybe isn't necessarily something that you've seen a lot of, then take some shots of it. Hopefully there's some in progress shots. Write kind of some details down about it and send it to the editor, which is Dave, and he can then finesse it a bit and turn it into an article, and then you can see your wonderful project in print, which I know everybody likes. You know, everyone loves seeing their picture in print. It's best in the world, the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, and also I think with any club, you know, if you're a club member and you're getting that magazine, it's another opportunity for you to input into the club. So you know, it might be your model, it might be your modelling journey, it might be something you've experienced from other shows. Maybe you might want to start a conversation within the magazine and within the community about a particular subject, or maybe you are somebody who is absolutely amazing about all the detail about a particular subject. So, you know, Sherman's might be your thing. You know, you might know every rivet on a Sherman, every different variant of rivet, etc., etc. Just remember that's important stuff too. So, you know, it's not just I've made this amazing model. It's all the stuff, all the peripheries in which we use and do all the time.
I think there was recently a really good article which spanned over a couple of editions, which was about 3D printing and about kind of how to get started on it and debunking some of the myths, and then actually describe the project and how they kind of went about doing the project. So that was a really interesting read, quite technical at times, but it actually started my journey. I bought a 3D printer as well, so it was a really useful reference material to have to look back on and kind of think about when I was making my purchase. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be about a particular build. It could be about weathering technique. It could be about, you know, one thing I think is lacking in the magazine is something to do with dioramas. Me and James love a diorama. So, you know, someone put some tips in about a diorama, making a simple diorama or making a tree. I've got to make a tree this weekend, actually. So, yeah, so it'd be handy if I had a magazine to refer to.
Yeah. And you're right. You know, somebody, a lot of people have made comments in the community generally, not just IPMS, but in modelling community about 3D printing and is it a legitimate model and all that sort of stuff. But those conversations happening on Facebook, where people are chipping in and there's a lot of noise in the background, etc. It might be useful to put those sort of things into a magazine like IPMS magazine, which may encourage the society to look at Gundams, to look at 3D model making. You know, should there be a category for it? Should there be, you know, is there someone willing to be a sponsor for a trophy, or, you know, all those sort of things? So it's a really good tool actually to open that start that conversation. And you know, as you've alluded to in our conversation about rocking the boat a little bit and changing things within the way the society is, to make it, I don't like the phrase more modern, if I'm honest. Yes, that's factual to a point. But I prefer the term of stuck in its ways. We as model makers, and I challenge any model maker that listens to this and any model maker in IPMS, that they will absolutely 100% agree with this statement, in that their modeling journey has evolved through the years of their model making. So why wouldn't the society evolve as well? So that's really important, I think, to get across, because I've heard lots of murmurings over the last couple of years about how people feel about the society and the show. And yes, we are the biggest. I think it is the biggest show, right, in the world at the moment. Is it, or is it just the UK?
I don't know. I think it's definitely the UK, without doubt. Whether it depends on how you would judge, kind of like measure that in terms of America. The American Nationals obviously has a huge. It's just purely about the competition. This year they actually introduced, I think, a very small kind of display part where people were displaying. They don't have anywhere near the kind of like the thing that we have with our special interest groups at all. I think they're starting to sort of catch on there. And then obviously I think last weekend it was Scale Model Challenge as well in the Netherlands as well. So that, and you know, it looks like a fantastic event. And I'd like our show to be the biggest, definitely. And I would like ours to be the one that is, you know, we're kind of showing the way really in lots of things. And it means that it's something that it was a season model you can go along, but also anybody who's new to modeling as well, who's maybe got an Airfix starter set for a birthday present or a Christmas present, and they've kind of seen this and thought, do you know what, I quite fancy seeing what there is out there, and they go along and then they buy their next model, and they kind of like buy some, you know, different paint, and they start their journey that way. That's what I'd like to see, really, kind of like growing, expanding the hobby. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would say that and I haven't been to those sort of shows over in Europe. I want to, but obviously the competition side and the way it's lit and displayed, etc. is a wonderful way in which they do it. I know there's quite a bit of an expense involved with different tiers and tablecloths and lighting and all that. But it's a shame we can't, or the society can't push towards that in time, because I think that would help to a degree. But yeah, you're right. The way this show is, it's a mixture of things, isn't it? It's not just competition. It's not just traders. It's all of that and more. And I don't think there is another show around that's the same at all. I think it's quite unique in that respect. So yeah, well done you, and well done for everyone. We were, funny enough, Malcolm and I were talking just last night about how difficult it must be to from start to finish put this thing together, and all the different facets. So as someone that's been there as a visitor, as a trader, and supporting Models for Heroes, I can see all the different elements, and yeah, my hat, I wouldn't want to do it. My hat is off to you guys big time.
Well, I kind of like, I'm not going to take all the credits for it at all. I can only take a tiny bit where I think there's the crew, that the one chap that kind of like is the kind of scale model world manager is he does a phenomenal amount, an absolute star. So hats off to him to pulling it all together. But there, we do have, we do rely on volunteers as well. So there's kind of like, there's a lot of volunteers that kind of help out throughout the weekend with photography, who help out with kind of like the logistics things about checking people's wristbands or distributing stuff. So it's always, if anyone's bored, if they're bored over the weekend and they want to kind of help out, then please, grab someone wearing a yellow polo shirt and ask if there's any jobs that need doing, because I'm sure there will be.
Yeah, make sure they've got IPMS written on them. Don't grab anyone that's random with a yellow polo shirt, because that could be
yeah.
it'll be awkward. Listen, Mark, thank you so much for spending some time with me and talking about your new role and what the show's upcoming shows bring. I'm really, really super excited about it. I can't wait. I really can't. It's one of my favourite things for the year. In fact, it is the only and first thing that's booked into the diary for the following year. So thank you for your time. Thank you for what you do. And yes, I appreciate you're only a very small cog, but thank you to everybody that puts the show together. We do appreciate it. Is there anything else in which you want to say about IPMS and the show coming up before we get our ways?
I think anybody that's interested should come along to the Gundam workshop and build a Gundam kit. That's all I would say.
Yes.
And experience how amazing Bandai can actually manufacture things. We all talk about fit when we're talking about things lining up. Just build a Bandai kit, and I think you're kind of ready. But that's I would say that to anyone who's a doubter, come along and try that. And also check out all the smaller traders as well, who have all the kind of niche products, because they kind of use it's really interesting to see some of their stuff. Yeah,
it's a big event for them, and maybe a big part of their sales as well. So anyway, for now, thank you very much for your time, Mark. I will see you in a few weeks' time, I guess.
Yes, thank you, James. It's been a pleasure.
Take care.
Ta-da.
So that was the interview, and obviously Malcolm is back here with us.
Hello.
He would have listened to this while he was washing up, didn't you?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I'll just nod. I'll play along with whatever you've got. Yes, I absolutely was.
Oh my god! See, this is the joy of JMC.
I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah. Okay.
No, exactly. Well, they don't either, so it's fine. Anyway,
yes, James. Yes, I enjoyed.
So that was. Thank you. Well done. Get the AI kicked up. Yeah, he's not playing. We'll just do it. Yeah. Anyway,
I particularly like the clever questions you asked.
Oh, thank you. Well, you did write them for me.
I was so curious about the tassels. What that was all about.
Well, I think all will be revealed. Definitely.
I'm not. Oh, dear.
Anyway, on that note, that's us for this particular episode. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye. Bye. Bye.